everybody, what is up? Welcome back to the hashtag Lockboss Show and Giveaway. How is everybody doing today? Let's see here. Let me hop into the comments now here in just a few moments. Let me go ahead and grab this for everybody, which is our after party. So after the show's over, if you want to come hang out to the after party on Jimmy J's Discord, why, you are invited and you're more than welcome to come hang out with us. I tell you what, lots of good discussions, a little bit about everything really. And I don't know, you might just find that you enjoy it. I'm just saying. I am just saying. So here we go. Here's the link. Let me go on and throw that down in the chats here. All right. Stephen, what's up? He says, hopefully update is just an April Fool's joke. No kidding, right? No kidding. I always have to remember, man, I don't know how many years ago it was now, but we did that April Fools where I quit and went back to my roots, which is selling red worms, Pee-wee's red worms. I know some of you in the watching right now remember that. That was fun. That was a lot of fun, a lot of good times there. But yeah, oh, okay, yeah, there we go. Okay, so the link is posted. All right, so after the show's over, you can head on over to Jimmy J's Discord. Link is in the chat. And, some of us video chat, some of us audio chat, and we really just talk about whatever. I mean, all sorts of topics. So, yeah, let's see here. Oh, my gosh, that's good. Okay, well, hold on. I'm getting distracted there. Of course, I got a brand new Topo Chico, and I'm going to be cracking it open and enjoying this beverage for the show today. I just want to say cheers to all you out there as well who is drinking a Topo Chico or your favorite beverage of choice. So cheers to y'all out there. Man, I love it. I'm actually out at my house of these, and I need to get some more. So that's a lot of fun last week with the Lockfather. Lots of good chats. Great video this weekend, and man, I tell you what, everyone's been ordering those palm cuts, those tubular handheld key machines like crazy. So thank you all out there for that. I do need to find a new Y1 because that thing's over. As a matter of fact, we're lucky enough to rebuy some with some nice tariffs associated with them. So, excuse me. Technically, I think I was selling them below cost now. No, it's really good. Really, really good. But, all right. So let's go ahead and let's hop in here, have some fun. I'm seeing all sorts of different things going on here in the chats. All right. So, yeah, let's hop into it. Let's have a little bit of fun. All right. Let's go. Let's go. Now, of course, Julio, if you want to have some music or something for us, well, I mean, that's really your only job around here. So if you can pull it off, that would be fantastic. All right. Season 3.16. Here we go. Post of the week comes from Joe F. from NY Locksmith. He says, hey, folks, or hi, folks. Just wanted to say thank you. This is what I chose from my $500 winnings. If I had waited, I probably would have picked up that cool Wincing tubular cutter, even though I have a 1200 add-on. Never had a 3000s kit, but after watching some of PJ's old videos, made me want it. Thanks again, Joe F. NY Locksmith. Joe, hey, great stuff here. Thank you so much for sending the photo in. And I tell you what, let me know. I want to know what you think of the 3000s. Of course, you know by watching the older videos that I absolutely love the 3000s pinning kit over the 5000s, and I hope you do as well. And let's see here. Oh, oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh man, Ian, I think you're in the wrong YouTube channel, but hey, you know, all's fair in love and war, I suppose. All right, that's good. Hey, Joe, thank you so much though for sending that in, and I hope you're enjoying that pinning kit as well as all the other goodies, including my book I wrote like, I don't know, about a decade ago now called Lock, Rekeying Made Simple. I like it. Tell me what you think. All right, comment of the week. Let's see here. This one goes to Ropa Redefined. Says, such a great Lockboss van setup. Streamline and time efficiency is the key to great service. And the Lockfather definitely has some great people on his team. Thanks, CLK and crew. Yeah, Ropa, hey, thank you for the comment. And I tell you what, so the van videos are awesome, aren't they? They're really awesome, and I'm glad we get to share those with you. The hard part, you know, they're kind of harder, few in between. You have to kind of wait for someone to set them up. There's a couple others that have kind of offered me some van tours. One ended up getting, I don't know what happened to it, but it's no longer with us. I think it went on to visit the afterlife at the junkyard. So, that one's not happening, but yeah, it's fun to do them when we can incorporate them in, and it's fun to watch. And I'm sure it doesn't surprise you by now, but the Lockfather, he knows how to outfit a van with extremely efficient capital use, right? Now, it does help that he's had a lot of them and he knows kind of what he's doing and all that. But yeah, it's really, really cool to see. Let's see here. All right. So with that being said, let's go and let's hop into today's topic before we announce this week's winners. Now, this is the deal, right? I'm telling you, like, this is just the truth here. Right now, here we are, April 1st, 2025. The supply chain is starting to get a little shaky, honestly. In a lot of ways, it kind of sadly reminds me of like late 2020, early 2021. Price increases all over the place, surcharges. I'll get into those here in a little bit. And yeah, it's not really as exciting as, we wish it was, right? I mean, we all kind of hope prices go down over time, but they go up, right? And it's really just a fact of life. And so what I want to do is I want to kind of go through and I want to talk about the manufacturers that I know of that have been doing some price increases or surcharges, and kind of what that kind of means for us a little bit. Well, let's just kind of talk it through a little. And a lot of times I think it's better just to talk about it, right? And just face it on and just kind of go from there. So with that being said, let's hop right in and go for it. All right. Now, the first thing I want to do as I talk about these price updates, though, is I want to talk about, like, there's two different things going on. Excuse me. All right, there we go. All right. So there's kind of two different things going on, or another way to put it is companies are choosing two different approaches. The first approach is a surcharge. The second approach is a price increase. Now, there's a little nuance here that I think is important. When I look at a company that adds a surcharge, is what they're telling you is that they're hoping this isn't going to last very long. And as soon as, I don't know, tariffs or, what have you change, then they would go down, hopefully, right? Whereas a price increase is more of a permanent, like we plan to keep it this way thing. And so when you look at the manufacturers doing this, I think it's just really important to kind of see it through that lens, because I don't know about you, I've been doing this since 2004. Okay. And I have never, now tell me if you have in the chats. Okay. Tell me, I'd love to be proved wrong on this, but I have never, ever seen a manufacturer come out with a updated price list that was less money, right? That they had lowered prices on. Now, maybe a product or two, but overall, I've never seen it actually. As a matter of fact, something that you can like almost like bet on, okay? I do bet on actually, is that if it's a publicly traded company, you're going to see a minimum of a 3% increase a year. Now, I don't know, maybe I should say minimum. 1 to 3% increase every year, right? Very standard practice. Like you name the publicly traded company and go to their website. If they have like an announcement history, look, you're going to see every year, right? Sometimes a couple of years, depending on how the supply chain goes. So that's just one of those things that it just is what it is, right? So I've never seen a price go down. Please tell me if you have like a price list. Like, hey guys, congratulations, it's 2025 or 2026. And instead of raising our prices 3% this year, we're lowering them 3% this year. Never seen it. Let me know if you have. I would love it actually. But so with that said, when I see right now with all this stuff going on, if we see a vendor, a manufacturer come out with a price increase, that tells me it's permanent. Okay. Love to be proved wrong, but it's most likely it's permanent. A surcharge right now, well, that tells me that it's temporary. Now, it wouldn't surprise me if surcharges turned into permanent prices as well. I think that's a possibility. It wouldn't surprise me if on some of these companies, especially the publicly traded ones that are doing surcharges, if they eventually turn the surcharge into a normal charge, if things kind of stay status quo. That's my guess. So with that being said, let's hop into it, and then I'll start kind of going through your comments here. I see there's a whole bunch of comments. All right. Here we go. Buckle up. Put them seatbelts on. Here we go. First one up is Abus. Okay. Now Abus had like a 20 plus up to, I think 30 or I don't know, 40% or something price increase. So they had quite the jump here, which is quite surprising actually, but it's the truth. So Abus had a 20% increase, which tells me it's here to stay, right? Oops. Next up, we have GMS. GMS put on a 6% surcharge, right? And so with the surcharge, that tells us that it's probably tariff-based, if I was a betting man, right? And hopefully maybe that will go away. So I think that's pretty good. Like knowing that, stuff from China went up 10%, another, 10%, seeing a 6% there is pretty good, man. I'm not bad. Let's go to the next one here, which is Master Lock. So Master Lock had a 8.2% increase, right? Not a surcharge increase. So there is that. Next up, we have Allegion. And Allegion, depending on the product line, they went up 2 to 6%. And next up here, we got our friends at Assa Abloy, and they, oops, hold on, let me go back. So Allegion is a 2 to 6% surcharge. Oh my gosh, can't believe I left that out. So that's a surcharge, 2 to 6% surcharge. We go to Assa Alloy, and they did a, depending on the brand, a 3.5 to 5.5% or 4.5% increase. Okay, increase. So expect that to stay. Next up here is we got our friends at Dormakaba. And they did, depending on their product line or, you know, their brand underneath their umbrella, they did a 1.75 to 10% surcharge. And I put on here notably a 1.75% surcharge on all of CLK products. That's all of them. That's software, hardware, key blanks, all that kind of stuff. So 1.75% surcharge there. All right. And then lastly here, we had major manufacturing, which this, by the way, came out a couple months ago. I think it was. My guess out of all of these price increases, this one is not a tariff type of increase. I could be wrong, but I don't think it is. And it's kind of like a 3%, really kind of a more of a typical standard, you know, kind of varied per item. But yeah, so they did a 3% increase. So that's kind of what I have for you there, kind of talking about that. And then I want to kind of work through a little bit more of this, if we could here. And right, this is stuff I'm thinking about, and it's probably stuff that you should be kind of thinking about as well. So the interesting thing about a surcharge, okay, so if I were to pull up like a vendor bill that is doing a surcharge, is what's happening. Okay, so let's say the item before any of this happened was $1, okay? And if they did a 6% price increase, it would be $1.06 would be my new cost for that item, right? But the ones who did a surcharge, they're still charging us $1 for the item, but then you'll see a separate fee, which will say like tariff surcharge, 6%. And then there'll just be a separate little column there, you know, that, so my bill is still $1.06, but it's, they break it out differently, right? Which like for on my end of things, it gets awkward because depending on how you do your landed costs, right? Or if you're taking the cost of goods sold hit up front, or if you're baking it into the cost of that item, right? There's a lot of nuance kind of circling around that, but it's a real interesting thing, right? And I think it's something that why I think it's important to share it with you guys just overall, right? With these increases is be careful. Right? Be careful with your prices. And a lot of times when the increases are small enough, they can kind of catch up to you a little bit. And I want to give you an example of this. So for years when we would do price increases, the factory would just give you the new price, or, you know, they essentially would send us a PDF or Excel spreadsheet, and it has, you know, part number, cost, sell price most of the time, MSRP, you know, whatever it might be. And we would take those, right, plug them in and kind of get them done. And something that after, I don't know, a decade or so of doing this, I'm like, hold on here. Like, I don't necessarily know for sure what's going on. And so is what we always do before a price increase. And I would highly recommend to some degree, depending on how you keep track of everything, to do this. Okay, this is what I do, is get an Excel spreadsheet and export your cost and your sale price. And then in the column next to it, put your profit, you know, what's the profit on those items. And is what's going to happen a lot of times if you let the little costs creep up. Okay, maybe it's just the 1.75% now, or maybe it's the 3% last year, whatever it might be. As those keep kind of catching up on you and you start looking in the columns with the profit, is what I did actually. And the truth is, one of the items, one of the major items, we were actually selling it for less than cost, which wasn't great. is you see that and you're like, oh, okay, we have a few problems in here we need to deal with, right? And then is what I do is I take the new pricing, map it all together, new pricing with profit, okay, with the profit percentage. So then you can look. So I got 2 columns with cost sell, and then the profit percentage in there. And it's good to just kind of look at it. So if you have any ability to kind of do that, do. Because otherwise, you can lose some money, really, like we were on this major item. But that's just something to keep in mind as you're kind of going through it and thinking through it. But you just really want to make sure it doesn't sneak up on you, okay? And one that I'm still waiting for the shoe to drop. If you remember a month ago or so, JMA, who makes most of their keys in Mexico and, the remainder in Spain, they, did a 20% increase. Now they ended up pulling it off the table, thankfully, for the moment, but I haven't followed the news today or, exactly what's going on, but we might see a bigger increase coming there. Right. So yeah, it's one of those that, you just want to keep close attention to. I personally, I don't know about you, I learned a lot through the COVID time, right? There was like, I remember like 2 sudden shifts that I'll talk about a little bit. Tell me what you think on this. But so started in 2004, I noticed a big shift during the financial crisis in, 08 to 10, that a lot of manufacturer or vendors, I'll call them, kind of went from having a ton of products on the shelf to a lot more like in-time manufacturing, right? And that's why a lot of, especially the bigger companies, you'll really see this kind of on time, try to build it as quick as you can after the order comes through, right? So you don't have a ton of inventory. I noticed that was just a shift I noticed 08 to 2010. Ordering really shifted, right? Like the philosophy before that and after that, I had to change how we approached it due to this reason. Then 2020 hit is what I really realized in the terms of pricing is that, oh my gosh, like you can, in some cases, right, is what would happen is, let's say an item used to cost us $4 and we sold it for $6. Well, all of a sudden the new item cost us $6 or $6.50 and we were selling it for $9 or something. And we would sell it. Although we'd make money, the cash flow wise, when we had to rebuy it again, we were like negative cash flow on it. And you're like, what the heck, And, there's nothing worse than making money than not making money than to make money and have profit, but no cash. And when you do that, it's kind of a worse bill because you get a tax bill along with no money. So that's something that I learned, during those crazy times, the tariff, all the different fluctuations and surcharges and this and that. Right. So that's something that I learned through that time. And sadly, it feels a little bit like that right now, hopefully not for too long, but hey, let's just keep doing our thing. Right. And let's just keep our head straight. For me during times like this, it's like, okay, maybe I don't like it, but it's just the reality. And so we just got to face it head on, right? Just face it head on and go through it. But anyways, yep, that's what I have for you today. Hopefully you maybe learned something new about some of the price increases going on or the difference when you look at a surcharge compared to an increase. Very important stuff from my perspective. But all right, here, let me scroll through the comments here for a second, and then we'll announce this week's 5 lucky winners. Let's see. Give me a second here. Oh, King's Classic says, acquired a 5,000 pinning kit for my startup business. Very nice. And hey, so by the way, on that, if you haven't watched my videos, King's Classic on the universal pins and pinning kits, definitely watch it, because now that you have a 5,000 pinning kit, you'll be able to really know the strengths and the weaknesses, because it's very possible you could find yourself maybe keying up some quick sets or something where you're like, oh man, why is it like this? So check that out if you haven't. So I just type in, I don't know, universal pin or 0.003 CLK or something and find it. Let me keep going here. James says, just put 40 blanks per box of keys and 5 levers instead of 6. Yep, I get it. The only update the price list with lower prices after they raise the price so they can roll it back. Oh, James. Let's see. I agree. Surcharge makes it appear as though prices will drop later. Yep. Yep. Let's see here. Keep it going. Let's see. Yep. Okay. Yeah. Well, it looks like you guys helped them answer some of those questions. That's good. Oh, here's another one here. It's very expensive to update an entire price list for all the items offered. A surcharge for these assumed temporary makes the most sense. Let's see. Oop. Because of just-in-time ordering, a company I previously worked at had to use a private jet to ship parts across the country for at least a month straight. Ooh. Ooh. They had to be in a very niche business to be able to absorb those costs. That is crazy, I tell you. Yeah, Matt's Lock Shop, what's up? He says, I have old catalogs, still prices have not dropped. It's the truth. It's the truth. So, all right, guys, hey, good stuff, man. You know, hopefully, thanks for all your input. You put it in here, and hopefully you got something valuable, or at least you're like, oh, yeah, some prices have went up, and those are the manufacturers. So, as always, I'll keep you up to date as we keep rolling through it, and I would absolutely love to come on alive in a month or 6 months and be like, hey, remember that when I said I've never seen a price increase go down? Here is one right here. So hopefully I can say that. All right. Hopefully. But I'm not betting on it. If I was a betting man, I wouldn't bet. All right. Anyways. All right. Hey, let's go ahead and let's move it along here. And let's get into the giveaway winner. All right. Now, let's first talk about what to do if you win. And looks like Julio put a little bit of music on there. Thank you very much, Julio. Better late than never. Hope you're doing well. All right. What to do if you win? Email us your shipping info to sales@CLKsupplies.com or call us at 800-848-6989 and we'll send your gifts soon. How to win? Comment on our videos with the hashtag Lockboss. Winners will be chosen from comments on the previous week's videos for our weekly giveaway. No purchase necessary. All right, so with that being said, let's hop into winner number 1. Gary Brown 6675. Congratulations. Winner number 2 this week is KC_locksmithing. Congratulations. Winner number 3 is Locksmithing. Congratulations. Winner number 4 this week is the Rocket Man 321. The Rocket Man 321. Congratulations. And last but not least, winner number 5 this week is Liberty Lock and Key. Congratulations to all lucky 5 winners this week. And I tell you what, if you want to get a free mystery hat, you can get one for free with the purchase of $150 or more, which is this, you get free shipping as well. Add to cart for offer while supplies last. How about that? Well, I tell you what, that is our show today. Julio, you really cut off that music quick there. You hoping to get out of here soon or something? I don't know. But yeah, I tell you what, guys, hey, it's great seeing you all. Make sure if you want to come hang out with us in the after party, Adrian, I'm going to make sure everyone's nice to you, okay? Everybody. No, everyone's actually really nice. But man, we've had a lot of great conversations about all sorts of things. So I look forward to seeing many of you who want to join us. You're invited. Hop on over, hang on out, have a little bit of fun. All right, have a little bit of fun. But anyways, everybody, you have a wonderful and safe Tuesday evening. And I'll tell you what, we'll see you same place, same time next Tuesday. Until then, y'all have a good one. We'll see you.